We're about a week away from Fight Lab number 30. That's a big accomplishment, right?
That's a huge accomplishment, and we're excited and happy, and we're going to celebrate that night with a big show.
Obviously, this is the bread we got going on here. The matchmaker, Fight Lab Promotions, bread and butter management, whatever accolade you want to put on yourself there.
Yeah.
This is 30 shows is a real big accomplishment, especially in this area where shows come and go, and some, you know, are maybe just on the 10th or 20-something. Or you guys are going strong into the new year with 30 shows right now. More prepared, so pat on the back. One time I'll actually give you a physical.
Yeah, it's funny because it's actually a product of a lot of people's hard work. You know, number one, Tom Bakley, who's our third partner or third cognitive wheel with me and Kenny Letts. He's our operations guy, and he is just such a big part of what we do, and he doesn't get enough credit because he's never out in the forefront like me and Kenny is. But you know, everybody, if you come to Silver Hammer Fight Lab 30, make sure you go up to Tom Bakley, find him. I'm definitely going to point him out at this show, and so everybody will know who he is. Make sure you go up and thank that guy, because he's the one that, you know, he makes sure the cage gets up. He puts together the floor plan. He helps find the venues and pick the venues. I mean, he's a huge part of Fight Lab. So.
And the venue is not too far from here. It's at the North Carolina Music Factory. Sort of a nice stroll if you ever had a death wish if you want to walk from here to the Music Factory.
Yeah.
But it's not too far from here. And
yeah.
It's a great venue. You can, after the fights, go and get yourself a little adult beverage and celebrate with a bunch
I'm
of
a fan of adult beverages.
Yeah, I seen it earlier today. But you ready to make these picks here?
Yes, sir. Let's do them.
And it's a clean slate for you this year.
Yeah.
We don't carry over all the picks from last year. I think you might have had a winning percentage.
You think I had a winning percentage?
I just barely had a winning percentage, but I think you had a winning percentage. And I want everybody, whenever we find these picks, to point these out. You know, we'll point them out and see what your percentage is.
Well, it's a product of good matchmaking.
Yeah, it is.
And it's also a product if I didn't have too many Body Quest people on there, because if I had a bunch of them on there, there's no way I would have had a winning percentage.
Oh, man, there you go. Already getting stuff stirred up once again.
You can take that either way, though.
That's true.
That could be.
They got some good guys over there.
They got some very good guys. They got some tough guys at Body Quest, man. No. All joking aside, those guys are tough. Yeah. And hopefully we'll have them on some Fight Lab cards.
So, and if you have and I'll say this, if you have a good winning percentage of this one, I'll buy you a beer at the next show. One whole beer.
One whole beer.
Of my choice.
I figure if I get my one from Chaz and the one Tater owes me, I should be doing good.
Don't you owe him something too?
Oh, well, I thought he owed me.
I don't know.
What we got?
Coming up, remember, folks, these are competitions, not exhibitions, so wagering is encouraged on these fights.
Yes.
First fight, you got the 125 guys. Josh Smith making his debut fight versus John Webb. He's at 1-0. This will be John's first fight since June.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
Man, I tell you what, I'm excited for this one. I mean, the flyweight division itself, the fastest, the quickest, a lot of times the most explosive, and the guys can take a punch because they're not really packing a lot of power. But in this instance, not only is it the flyweight division and all the variables that come with that, like I just said, but you got two tremendous athletes who are experienced in their craft. You got Bobby John Webb from Revolution MMA. He trains down there with Jimmy Fowler, who is the cream of the crop in the flyweight division in the Southeast, probably the country. And they're producing some top-notch flyweights down there with him and Justin Scoggins and Little Scoggins. And now they've got Bobby John Webb. He's 1-0. This guy's probably has, I'm guessing, about 100 to 200 career point karate, full contact kickboxing matches. I mean, this guy is a striker. On the other side, we've got one of the few national wrestling champions to ever come out of the state of North Carolina. Josh Smith, he trains out of Matt Masters, claims Renegade is his home, but we don't ever see him here. So, and he is just a ball of energy. And I mean, you're talking about, you know, argumentatively, for record and accomplishments, one of the greatest wrestlers to ever come out of the state. So you got a high-level wrestler with a high-level striker.
I was going to say, how is the dynamic
going
to be between
man, I have no idea. But I'm going to pick a winner. And just because Matt Masters is like a sister school to Renegade, I'm going to go with Josh Smith. But anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Bobby Webb is a freaking stud.
You don't
I mean, he
didn't sound very confident, though.
Huh? Well, he does that.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. Well,
what are you going to do when a guy's, you shoot and he...
Give him a block of wood. Moving on to Egor
Tarnoff.
Tarnoff. I apologize. I'm not, I'm not Dan Rather up in here. He's at 3-0, taking on Gregory Haskell. This is his debut fight. Mm-hmm. A lot of debuts can scare you a little bit.
Now, actually, and again, I've went through this before, but some people fight in other places where the records aren't actually documented.
Yeah, we don't.
This is his first sanctioned fight
in
the state of North Carolina, and where fights are recorded. According to Greg Haskell, he is 6-2 as an amateur. Okay. And he is a very high-level grappler, brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He actually lost by points to Roger Carroll from Renegade Fighting Systems. So he's, according to him, he's ready for the challenge. Egor Tarnoff trains currently out with Matthew Tuttle, former student, possibly current student of Joe Hurst Jiu-Jitsu. Very good submission skills, very good striker, judo player. Okay, extremely powerful. So I'm looking forward to this. And, I'm not going to promise Haskell, but if Egor wins this fight, then Egor will come back and fight Denison Paiva.
Oh, there you go.
At the next Fight Lab.
That's a big step up right there with Denison being 3-0, current title holder.
Yeah.
So.
But I like confusion, so I'm going to go with Haskell.
Yeah, thanks for confusing everybody.
It's my pick.
You got.
Even though I've never seen him fight.
Well, and if the record's wrong, then you need to go to, I guess, mixed martial. That's where I get all the statistics and stats from mixedmartialarts.com. So
that's a big discrepancy, though, 6-2 and debut. But that happens. I mean, he lives in the Raleigh area, and a lot of the Raleigh guys go to Virginia and fight, and that's how he earned himself this fight. So he basically talked himself into it. But we'll see.
He's a good talker. 4-1, Kirk Rogers takes on Caleb Bucy. At 0-2, I cannot read my own notes. Who hasn't fought in about 2 years? This is an interesting fight right there. Is that another thing of the records being mixed up?
This is one of those things where
I'm all wrong starting off 2013 with these records.
No, actually you're not. Caleb Bucy is actually, I think he's 1-3.
Okay.
But this is one of those instances where Kirk Rogers is coming off of a loss. His last card, he was on Fight Lab. He lost to Matt Tuttle, who was the debut. And Kirk Rogers was 4-0. Matt Tuttle was the debut, and Matt Tuttle won. Caleb Bucy, he's one of those guys, very talented. You see the guy physically; he looks like he could fight, but I don't think he was, getting the proper training. Now he's an East Coast fighter. He's training with Denison Paiva. He's training with Paulo Mushu, John Plyler, all those guys out there. You can't go wrong training at East Coast.
Yeah.
So, they don't put no garbage out. So Caleb Bucy, who had actually lost his first fight against Kirk Rogers by split decision, he wanted a rematch. I gave him a rematch. And Kirk's coming off of a loss. He may be 4-1, but he's 0-1 in the Fight Lab cage. So as far as I'm concerned, this is 0-1 versus 1-3. But I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with Kirk Rogers.
Kirk Rogers, there you go.
Because he's got pink hair.
That's always great.
Man, when a dude wears pink, he's bad.
Yeah. Because you don't want to, look at this guy, he's got pink hair. You just slap him around now.
Absolutely.
Michael Clark looking at the second win. He's right now at 1-0, and he's fighting a newbie, Randy Ortiz.
Randy Ortiz from Highest in IMB.
There you go.
Kevin Ferrant. He trains with the Master of Cool.
That's good training.
Yeah.
That's good training.
And did you notice I said the Master of Cool? 2013. I made a Fight Lab resolution to not insult anyone in the Charlotte area involved in mixed martial arts.
That's very good of you.
Okay, so I called Kevin the Master of Cool, not the Master of Drool.
Keep it going.
Thank you. You proud of me?
Sort of.
Okay, so Michael Clark, very high-level jiu-jitsu guy in the teenage division.
Yeah.
Okay, he finally grew some chest hair, and so now he's going into the adult division, and he's going to fight MMA. This will be his second MMA fight, and this kid is talented, man. You do not want to miss this guy. When it hits the ground, he reminds me of a younger version of Michael Powell. Yeah, the kid. Yeah. And Randy Ortiz, coming out of Paul Boo's Highest in IMB and training with the Master of Cool. You can't go wrong with guys like that. I'm going to say, though, that this is going to go the distance, and Randy Ortiz is going to get the nod. I think he's going to hand Michael Clark his first loss, and then Michael Clark's going to rebound, go down to 125, and win our flyweight title.
There you go. And let's publicly say good luck to the kid. Michael Powell, who's
Yes.
doing his, just joined enlisted in the Army down there.
Yeah, our former featherweight champion, the kid, Michael Powell.
Still thinking about you, buddy, out there, and come back from boot camp, be a great service to the United States of America. So,
Yes.
there you go.
Drink plenty of beer.
There you go. That's even better. Michael Tuttle at 1-0 takes on Duran McDonald at 2-1. I'm going to keep my emotions out of this and just let you talk about it.
Now, Duran McDonald, Modern Warrior MMA, just a specimen of an athlete. I mean, this kid's a freak. And, you know, getting to see him step into the Fight Lab cage is going to be great. You know, very high hopes with him coming into Fight Lab. He was 2-0. Think he had trouble with his weight cut, not making an excuse because he got beat fair and square. But he lost his last Fight Lab fight. Now he's went up to 205. I think he's going to be more comfortable there as an amateur. And he's going to be taking on Matt Tuttle, who, like I hit on previously, took on a 4-0 Kirk Rogers and came out the victor. And Matt Tuttle was a big, strong, physical guy. You know, I'm going to bet this is going to be a war. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a war. I'm going to have to go with Duran McDonald, though, just for the simple fact that me and him may be related.
By the bigness or by your complexion?
Would it be racist if I said complexion?
Who really cares?
Who cares? I'm going with Duran McDonald. It's 2013. I'm going with Duran McDonald.
Living up, people. Loosen up. That's all I'm saying. It's 2013.
Chill out. Nothing to get mad about.
Calla.
Calla, man. The future.
The future.
Versus Bryant Taco Bullock.
And I had a script down here, but since you already going to go and start.
The future Calla versus Bryant Taco Bullock. Grudge match. Did you know this?
I did not know this.
You didn't know this? Bryant Taco Bullock. Let me give you some background.
It wasn't on TMZ, so I don't pay attention.
Let me give you some background on
Please.
this. Bryant Taco Bullock used to train at Renegade Fighting Systems here, under the tutelage of myself and Mr. Philip Wills. Okay.
You can't go wrong with that comment.
Can't go wrong with that. Okay. He left. Okay, for whatever reason. I think someone spoke to him in a very harsh tone, and he didn't like it, and his feelings got hurt, and so he left. He's now training with former UFC fighter John Latu.
Oh.
And he requested to be on the card, okay? The future Calla, who hasn't fought, I think, in close to a year.
It's been a while.
It's been a while since he's fought. Very talented wrestler, big punching power in both hands, has came to defend the honor of Renegade Fighting Systems, and this is going to be a war. You know, I don't think Bryant dislikes Dylan.
Does he dislike?
But I definitely think Dylan probably has some disdain for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna be tough, man. This is gonna be a war.
I thought he was going to say dislike this.
Well, I don't know how you couldn't dislike me. I mean, he may dislike Phil. You know, Phil's big. He's loud.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a boisterous.
Coach Wills. You know, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
You know, he likes to bully people around. So he's probably bullied Taco around in practice. And now Taco is going to get some revenge by beating up on his prize amateur people.
Okay.
So, but I'm going to go with Calla.
Okay. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, by knockout in the third round.
I think you got some newcomers here.
I think it's going to last a little bit.
Well, they're smaller guys too, so they have that energy.
Yeah.
So
that might be why.
Yeah. I like watching the smaller guys. It remind me of young me. I don't know.
Well, a young me, I couldn't do anything, so I don't want him to remind me of a young me. What we got next?
The newcomers, Johnny Smith taking on Brad Guire here.
Mm-hmm.
I believe these are new guys.
Yes.
If the website doesn't fail me.
Johnny Smith from Marshall's MMA, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Same camp as William Baptiste, Kevin Kinane.
I was going to say, you very rarely get too many of those guys from that area.
Yeah, Marcus Flood, they're a tough camp, man. Tough, traditional martial artists. Their coach Josh Marshall always did a great job of having them in shape, and he is really high on this kid. On the other side of the ring, Brad Guire coming from Paul Boo's highest in IMB, another master of cool prodigy coming out. So who knows what's going to happen? They're both debuts. I don't even know who's going to win this. I mean, they both wanted to fight. I put them on the card.
Are you doing a
I'm not using my mulligan on this one, okay? You're not going to trick me. I'm not going to waste my mulligan on two guys I don't know. So I'm going to go with Johnny Smith.
There you go. Thank you for being.
Because I picked for Paul Boo one time. I can't pick two in a row.
There you go.
For Paul.
Just based on off that, that's some messed up logic then.
I know. But you know, if I don't do something that sort of points in the direction of I'm being mean to Paul Boo, then people would think, well, I'm like coming down with the flu or something. So I got to be mean to Paul.
Two veterans of the cage. You got Ann Ronsnick faces Ivan. I can never pronounce his name. Grala. My fault to Ivan out there. This is not a title shot, but it should be. Because I wrote it down, but it's not.
Yeah, actually, it was originally scheduled to be Salah Hamadat, our bantamweight champion, defending his title against Ivan. Salah suffered some injuries in practice, from what I understand, and so he's not going to be able to defend his title. So James Ronzik, who Salah beat for the title, said, I want to work my way back into title contention, so this is how we came up with this fight. James Ronzik, he's a tough kid, really turned his career around in 2012,
Sure.
big time turned it around. I think he actually won some titles. And Ivan Grala has just been a beast. I think he's 7-1.
Something like that.
7-1 as an amateur with a couple title belts
I was
in
going to
there.
say he had the Rocket title for a little while, then Matt Coakley from Raleigh came up and got it from him. So
Yeah, Matt Coakley, the world's biggest sandbagger. But anyways, we're not even going to get into Matt. So Ivan versus James, I think they fought once before, so this is actually a rematch.
Yeah.
And Ivan pretty much had his way with him. So I'm torn here because since Ivan had his way with James has really turned things around. But I'm gonna have to go with Ivan.
And remember, folks, send all your complaints to Kenny Letts.
Kenny Letts.
Here, I don't know what the address is.
Kenny Letts at fightlab.com.
At FileLab. And make sure you send a PayPal dollar
Yes.
inside the email so he'll actually read it.
Yeah, and for each complaint, send the $1. Okay, if you can't reach Kenny, feel free to come to Renegade Fighting Systems and take your complaints up with Phil Wills.
I'm pretty sure Phil will listen to him about all of, 2 seconds?
Well, and then he'll throw the chair, throw the kids, all that stuff.
Oh, don't bring your kids. Lawrence Dennis is at 4-4. He fights Kevin Canay at 3-2. This seems like it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, Kevin Canay, current United States Air Force.
Yep.
Excuse me, Army. United States Army.
But he's on the
stationed on the Air Force base. Yeah, he does those secretive missions, man. You don't even know when he's going to be there. He shows up and then tells
half
his
the time
coach.
he's in the commissary.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just kidding.
Awesome grappler, huge punching power. 3-2. Actually, he's 4-2. I think he's got one on there that's not on there. Another one of those fights, Virginia. So he's 4-2. His two losses have been at 170, and he's coming down to 155. And on the other side of the cage, the Matrix from Renegade Fighting Systems, Lawrence Dennis, the fastest hands in MMA possibly, and that's for real, people. If you want to see something exciting, come watch Lawrence Dennis Friday night at Silver Hammer. This is going to be a hell of a fight, and from what I'm understanding, from what I've been told, the manager at Renegade Fighting Systems, I don't know who that young man is saying this is going to be Lawrence's last amateur fight, and then he's going to be turning pro. Kevin is looking to come in and put himself into the title picture at the lightweight division for amateurs in Fight Lab. So he's looking at Mr. Tony Tan after he gets done with Lawrence if he wins. I'm going to go with Lawrence Dennis, though. I don't think Lawrence is going to have his last amateur fight. Plus, I'm biased because he's from Renegade, so I would say that regardless.
There you go.
Okay, so Brian Keller versus Nick Blesser. The boss, Brian Keller, hasn't fought on Fight Lab, I think, in like 2.5 years.
Yes, it was down at the Grady Cole.
Yeah, last time we saw him, he lost to Ronnie Bam Bam Rogers.
Yep.
Yeah, and Nick Blesser just fought on the last Fight Lab card, lost to Curtis Clowder. So we got two guys who's coming off of 2 losses in Fight Lab. Two veterans, I think between them they probably got close to 30 fights.
It's a lot. Since I can't read, I can't count, so I'm not going to count.
It's a lot. So we're going to kick the pro division off, with a bang. I'm going to go with Brian Keller because he's from Renegade, and that's biased. And if you don't like it, send your complaints to Kenny Letts.
Stuff them with dollars.
At fightlab.com.
And I want proceeds, though.
Yeah.
We'll split it. I'll buy you a beer with that.
Who we got next?
You got the Carroll brothers fighting. The co-main events. It's the Carroll brothers. You got Joey Carroll versus
Noe Quintanilla.
There you go. I'm not even going to try anymore.
That's sad, man. I think he's a former Marine, too. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not going to try these funny names.
So we got former Marine versus former Navy. We got two guys that paths literally have just, this has been coming for 5 years, since MMA was legal here in North Carolina. Noe started his career off at Ruckus in the Cage, which was the first real promotion that came into North Carolina. I think we all cut our teeth at some point in Ruckus in the Cage. He was their champion, their amateur champion for a long time. He's fought practically every week. I'm not joking, guys. This guy has like 30 fights under his belt.
Possible.
I don't know. I don't know how you could do it. Okay, but he is definitely nothing to be taken lightly. I mean, I've seen him. He came in. He beat Jeff Tharrington in Winston-Salem. He's a tough guy. He's been in there with some UFC vets. Like I said, he fights almost every week, and he's just one of those guys that you can't let up on. If you let up on Noe at all, he can make it a long night. Okay, Joey El Dingo Loco Carroll. Everybody in Charlotte who knows MMA knows Joey. Trains out of Renegade Fighting Systems. You don't know Joey?
I don't know.
Okay, big, yeah, coming all the way down from 155 to 45, and word has it after this we'll be fighting in February on the XFC at 135. So Joey has really turned his career, his diet around, and we're gonna figure this thing out. Amongst the former lightweights, who the top dog is. They've been going back and forth on Facebook, and I stayed out of it. Are you proud of me?
I am. I'm proud of you for that one.
I stayed out of it. I didn't say anything. I let Noe say what he want, and I let Joey say what he want, and I stayed out of it. However, I'm going to go with Joey because he's from Renegade Fighting Systems, and because I think he's gonna finish Noe in the first round.
There you go.
And you can tag. Make sure you tag Molly Hoskinson. Can you tag like segments of the video?
I can tag the whole thing.
Oh, well, just tag her in the whole thing.
Okay.
Molly, your boy's going down.
And I'm not going to get an email when I first walk in the door at my office saying, you want to see this? I'm like, no. Final fight.
Final fight, main event.
There's a Roger Carroll fight at 10-8 taking on Drew Kennedy, who is undefeated at 5-0.
Big fight.
Big fight.
Big fight. This is what we do at Fight Lab. We do big fights.
You don't do small fights.
Big boy stuff. We do big boy stuff at Fight Lab.
That's good.
And this is another grudge match. In so many different ways.
Go ahead. Let's have another.
In so many different ways. I mean, it is amazing some of the caliber fights we got planned coming up in 2013. And actually, if you'll look at this card, we got a lot of new faces coming in. And there's a reason for that. We're replenishing the roster. We're getting these young guys built up so that they can hit the ground running going into some of the big stuff we got coming up in 2013. We got some vets on the card, and Brian Keller and Joey Carroll and Noe Quintanilla and Nick Blesser, getting those guys revved up. And then the main event is really going to kick off our new year, because the fights we've got planned after that is just amazing. And we're going to do it right with the main event this time. We've got Roger Carroll, one of the top pro welterweights probably in the country that's not signed to a major organization. And he's going to be taking on Drew Kennedy, who came into Fight Lab last year and played the spoiler role and beat Roger's teammate, Blaine Thomas, by armbar in the third round after taking a pretty good thrashing. Also, to add some more interest into this stuff, Roger's a Gracie Barra black belt, and I saw today where Drew just left Charlotte today from finishing up his training camp with Gracie Barra black belt Jeff Gimo. Yeah, and in his camp he had.
This is all too much. This is all too much.
Hold on. He had Charlie Vivas. God almighty, can you believe it?
The Charlie Vivas.
The Charlie Vivas was in his training camp.
Too much.
He was there. I saw it on Facebook. And Facebook does not lie.
No, it doesn't.
It does not lie.
80% of the time, it's right.
The crazy thing is, we thought about bringing UFC vets in to train with Roger.
Yeah.
Thank God we didn't, because then they would have been embarrassed, because Drew Kennedy's training with Charlie Vivas.
This is all too much for me right now. The heart palpitations.
I'm just playing, but I love Charlie. Charlie's great, and actually, you guys in Charlotte, make sure you come watch Charlie February 22nd on the XFC.
There you go.
Charlie's going to be fighting again. I don't know who the heck he's fighting.
I can't remember.
I can't even remember. It's probably not going to matter. Charlie's going to try to head kick him.
There you go.
Okay, but back to Drew Kennedy and Roger Carroll. You got two high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters, two high-level Muay Thai fighters. And Drew Kennedy's a really big welterweight. I mean, he looks like he cuts a pretty penny to get down to that weight. Roger's one of the more experienced, advanced fighters, probably in 4 or 5 states over. So this is a fight that easily could be shown on the XFC, could be shown on Bellator, and we're just fortunate and so happy. We're so happy to have this fight. And there's a lot riding on it. I've heard some rumors that some very important people are going to be in the stands watching this fight. And
that's other than me.
That's other than me and you, yeah. And whoever wins may get to have a good conversation with some important people afterwards.
There you go.
So, but I'm going to go for Roger Carroll.
I was going to say, you didn't use your mulligan.
I don't need mulligans in 2013, okay?
I might have to hold you to that one.
Don't hold me to that.
All right, we're less than a week away from Fight Lab 30. Man,
Fight Lab 30.
it's like having 30-year-old.
It's hard to believe.
Gonna have a big birthday celebration. It's not a birthday celebration. It's a big 30th anniversary, 30th show party shindig.
Yeah. You know what though, Chaz? If someone had told me that when we started the company, that 4 years later we would be doing our 30th show, I'd have told them that's crazy.
It's a great thing.
You know, I left. This is a funny history about Fight Lab. I left my job to come work for Fight Lab, and the next year we had 3 shows planned. We knew for a fact we was going to do 3 shows, and I left my job.
That's scary.
It was, man. You talk
That
about
was probably a better.
you talk about a leap of
job.
faith.
Yeah,
You talk about a leap of faith. It was scary. So we've been fortunate, and life has been good to us, and the fans have been great.
Exactly,
You know,
yeah.
without the fans at Fight Lab, you know, we wouldn't be anything. So, you know, we want to thank each and every one of you guys, and we want to see you next Friday at the Silver Hammer, Fight Lab 30, North Carolina Music Factory.
Short walk. If you want to dare to try to walk from here to there, you can do it.
Yep.
Go get your tickets from the fighters out there, because it helps support them. So get the tickets from their fighters. Go. I know I have my fighter I get my tickets from, Duran. I don't need a ticket though. Do I need a ticket?
You don't need a ticket. You never need a ticket.
You hear that, folks? That's love. That's love, and we'll see you Friday, January 25th.
January 25th.
Whew, saved my life again. And next time I'll actually have a script and I'll pronounce names correctly. Don't hold me to that either.
See you guys.